Today is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host, and welcome to the Lone Doctrine, the food for thought exploration station, and your place in making today better than yesterday. In this month's topic of attitude choice, we often forget that sometimes we are the ones who are in our own way of leading an awesome life. It's time to get out of our own way. Let me ask you a question. Now, this is just for you. No one is around judging you. You don't have to share your answer. This is between you and you. Have you ever experienced self-doubt? Do you find yourself comparing? Do you hold on to the past? Do you struggle with perfectionism? Do you fear the unknown? Do you fear failure? Have you ever been frustrated? If you've experienced any of those things I just listed, or even just one, you're not alone. We all experience these things at some point in our lives, and some over and over. The difference is what we learn, our choices, and ultimately our attitude. You are human. You will fail. That might be blunt for some, but there's a difference in becoming a victim of failure and failing forward. Some of the most significant and happiest people I know have faced a lot of failure and a lot of adversities. Are you wishing something would change in your life? Now is the time. It's never too late, and it happens one step at a time, not all at once. There are so many things in life that only give us temporary solutions. Changing your attitude, your choices, and creating a new lifestyle is where the real change happens. One ultimate lesson I've learned in life is that life happens all at once, the good and the bad. I've literally had moments where I've accomplished something big in my career and then have gotten a phone call that my loved one was in the hospital the same day, the same hour. Life happens all at once. Here's a good quote. Life has many ways of testing a person's will, either by having nothing happen at all or having everything happen at once. You might be surprised to know, or maybe you already know, that a lot of our attitude and choices are based around the environment we grow up in. We tend to create over time this part in our thinking that revolves around the idea of everyone. An expectation either presented by our environment, social norms, culture, family, friends, and then the constant thought of what others may want from you. If you ask yourself, what does everyone want from you? Maybe it's them wanting you to take care of them, maybe go to college, get good grades, succeed in a certain career, make money. The list can go on and on. So when we make choices, whether we realize it or not, we tend to think about that everyone. But here's another question for you. Who is your everyone? When those expectations come to mind, who's everyone? Most of the time, it ends up being a small group of people, of individuals more often than not, that are your family and your friends. So then, are we living our life for them or ourselves? I don't say that in a selfish way. I say it in, are we pursuing our best self, our best attitude, and choices that will lead us to providing much more for our loved ones and the world around us? Or are we constantly finding ourselves at an impasse, at a place where there's friction, unnecessary stress, complications, struggle, and with respect, poor attitudes? I'm always saying the key to most change is being honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, then who will be? There are many elephants. There are many elements in life that attribute to our attitude. What we've discussed today is just a few food for thoughts, but don't let that overwhelm you. As we feed our mind well, we keep that healthy mindset, and ultimately, when we're met with adversities, we tend to turn them into opportunities. Here's some more food for thought. So when life hands you lemons, you can start to make lemonade. Have you ever heard someone say, stay optimistic? I'll be honest, sometimes seeing the glass half full is beneficial, but on some of my most challenging days, that's the last thing I want to hear because it's quite the opposite of how I feel. I feel our strength comes from facing our feelings, not the art of avoidance as so many of us have been taught. By facing the feelings, allowing yourself to feel, and sometimes giving yourself forgiveness, you can then push through into a more constructive and productive state. It's when we bottle up or allow ourselves to become victim of a bad circumstance that we stop in our pursuit forward. Sometimes in hard times, keeping a positive attitude helps if we maintain a structure, a routine of sorts in those hard times, when we're having trouble staying optimistic. In times of loss, this has helped me greatly. It's easy to get lost in the emotions of loss. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, and I've been through the feelings, unfortunately, a lot. In those times, it has helped me greatly to maintain my attitude and not get lost by creating a routine. It could be very simple. It could be just reserved for hard times. For example, it really helps me after the initial morning to exercise, to write, to listen to music, and even sometimes keep myself busy with work and surround myself with family and friends. This works for me, and my focus has always been to implement healthy options because there are too many masks available to us in the world that will just take us deeper into the darkness if we're not careful. Here are some more practical and actionable ways to keep a positive attitude, which leads us to better choices. Number 1, lean on family and friends. That's what they're there for, and maybe one day you'll be able to give back that same comfort for those inevitable hard days. Number 2, sometimes revel in humor. As they say, laughter is the best medicine. And number 3, celebrate victories. No matter how big or how small, bringing light to the positive helps maintain a healthy mindset. And last one for today, pay it forward. It may seem like the last thing you want to do when times are tough, but by helping others, it will give you and those you are helping an endless amount of benefits. We're all in this so-called life together, so be there for one another and keep fighting the good fight.
It's a great day when you're hanging